it's just so nice to be able to connect this way virtually and just have some girlfriend time and share with everybody else at the same time.
Exactly. I'm so honored to be on your page and to meet everybody who's watching.
Oh, well, I'm really excited to have you here. And for those that don't know you, do you want to share a little bit about your background? I just did a couple minutes ago, but have a formal introduction and you introduce
yourself. No problem. Yes. So as I'm sure Michelle told you, I was in the shopping channel industry forever. I think when I think about how long I've been in television, Michelle, and you can relate to this, I got into it at the age of 21 years old. And I told everybody on one of my group pages that in 6 days, I will turn 61. And so I've been in television for
no way, you were not 61. No.
Yes. Paul said, you need to tell people because you're an inspiration for women. And I said, I don't know. We were always raised not to talk about our age, but I said, okay. So the response has been really something. And I said, well, I guess maybe because we're all trying to do such a better job at taking care of our skin and taking care of our bodies that maybe 60 is the new 40. I don't know.
It's true. Yeah.
But, having been in the shopping channel industry forever and on, I think, 5 different networks, QVC and HSN and JTV and CVN, and then Shop NBC, which became Shop HQ, which became Evine, which became Shop HQ again. It's hard to keep up.
Woo! I know it's about to make you crazy. I know. But it's a fun industry for sure. It is.
And it's ever changing. And you meet so many great people. I mean, we wouldn't have met had it not been for the shopping channel business.
No.
So many friends who've just gone all kinds of different ways. And it's fun, especially on Facebook, to kind of reconnect with people, see what they've done and where they are now and who's doing what and where they live and how many children they have.
Yeah.
When you've gotten into the industry so young, we all watch each other grow up and expand.
I know. That's like my TV family at CBS here in Tampa. 20 years, I've got these same friends. And of course, and with you now, 11 years, we all laugh about how our kids grew up together. And then we went through a couple marriages together. And then we went through, 18. And now we're all going through menopause together. And so it's like, you know what? We are growing up together. And, as you said, which is the reason I wanted to really share you with all my friends over here on my side of Facebook is because you are so inspiring and empowering. It's for women, and just in terms of who you are as a person. You're just such a good person, such a caring person. And also, you really have always had a very good approach to healthy living, a good balance between, having fun, drinking wine and, doing our thing. But also, I've always known, since I've known you, you've gotten up every single day and you do some kind of exercise, and you taught me a lot when I really wasn't doing much exercise, 11 years ago. And you and I went to the gym and you showed me basic workout that I still do to this day. I swear.
Really? Oh, that's awesome.
Simple. Yeah. And then, just the eating, and you and I both went through hormone replacement therapy together, and we shared our stories and what's working and what's not. And, and I just think that is the conversation that I'm having more and more of with my friends and with colleagues I'm working with. It's like, what are you doing that works?
Yeah.
Because now we're getting to the point where when you get past your 40s, all of a sudden, mid 40s and up, you start thinking, okay, something's happening here. I'm not sleeping well. I'm not feeling as well. I can't lose weight. You and I have both had this conversation many times. I've gained 5 pounds. I can't get it off, But it's hormonal. It's our aging. And there's certain things we have to learn how to accept.
Yes. And I think in this day and age are much more comfortable and free, feeling as though they can talk about it. And I think in previous generations, everybody just thought, well, I guess this is the way that we're supposed to age, and this is how it feels, and this is what I have to go through. Right. And if they're married, my poor husband, or if they have kids or grandkids, my poor children. But nobody felt like they had an outlet or somebody who would understand. And I think the industry now has changed so much, and the healthcare industry is getting more and more supportive because there are so many more things that are out in the market that we have as choices. And one of the things that, and I hope you don't mind, but because it's kind of a new platform that I've started, one of the reasons that I look like this and dress this way is because I think another thing that's a misconception is that we have to, if we're going to stay in shape, devote an hour a day to exercise. And you might think that that's a good idea on January 1st, and that's your New Year's resolution, but it's so hard to stick to something like that. And it never ends up being just an hour. It ends up being a half hour to the place, an hour, then a half hour back, then 15 minutes to shower, do your hair, do your makeup, if you're quick. So here's 2 hours out of your life devoted to it. And so then you feel like a failure when you miss a day, and then you think, oh, I'm exhausted, and now here's another day. So I started a YouTube channel.
There you go. I was sharing this before you got on.
So I brought my little 2-pound weights to show you what I use in my videos.
Good, very good. And that's the thing, there's a couple things which, again, you were my inspiration for working out. And I started working out with you when we were working at Shop NBC in Minnesota. Yeah. It was cold as hell. Yeah, we'd drink wine at night, then we'd get up in the morning, and Judy would take me to the gym and teach me all types of like simple exercises. And you taught me how to do like higher reps with lower weights and just really simple things that I started incorporating that every day. That's and awesome. Then, what was it? 3 years ago, we went out on your boat and you were just like in super great shape. And I said, what are you doing now? Like what kind of exercise? Because you were really getting even more defined in your body. I was like, what? This is crazy. I want to look like that. And you introduced me to bar, and I actually ended up finding bar 3, which is almost the same thing. Yeah. It's just a different version. Sure. But I was so hooked, and still am, to where I'm doing it online because I can't get to the studio.
Close here too.
Where it was now for me, it's not about looking a certain way at all. Yeah. It's about feeling better. Yes. I sleep better. I have a better mood. I have more energy, more focus. And so like today, I missed my workout because I've had so much work going on today, and that was a great blessing. But you go, oh gosh, you look forward to it. And if you miss it, you're kind of disappointed. So that's why I'm so excited about your videos, because I can say firsthand, I started working out really religiously once you showed me how, because I don't think a lot of people know what to. And then if, like you said, it's great if you're doing bar, but what if you don't have the time to go drive 30 minutes there, do a 1-hour class, drive 30 minutes? I mean, if you don't have 2.5 hours a day, most people don't.
Yeah.
So.
And also, a lot of people don't even have bar classes or Pilates classes or yoga classes nearby. They don't know where those studios are. So the lack of access to them is just as difficult as the devotion of time to them. And so my whole goal, because people have asked me all my life what I do to stay in shape, how do I stay motivated, how do I keep it up? But to your point, I feel so good and so proud of myself when I have fit in a workout, that if that's something that I can convey to other women. And I also thought, if I can do something to show some of the exercises like I did with you, what I do, and just do it from home and create these little videos where I can say to women, hey, you don't have weights? Grab a couple soup cans. Yeah. These things weigh 3/4 pound a piece. And if you don't have a lot of strength yet, or you don't have your hand weights yet, you don't know what to buy, where to go, what you need, how to do it, you start real slow, but it's 10 minutes. So you basically could get up in the morning, turn on YouTube, start the channel, 10 minutes, you're done. You go, oh, wait a minute. And the most fun I've heard is that women are saying to me, you know what, I'm stringing multiple videos together. So I'm getting a 20-minute workout, or I'm getting a 30-minute workout, because they're roughly 10 minutes a piece. And now with what's going on that you've pointed out, we're all stuck at home. I don't think there are any exceptions anywhere in the country. We are told, hold tight, stay home, stay healthy. You'll find things to do. You can go outside to exercise. Paul and I have been doing some bike riding, and people are getting out and walking, which is wonderful. But I did one the other day. It was so funny. I tried to do an outdoor YouTube video. Paul and I were up at 5:30 in the morning. Wow. I said, I've got to get my face on. I've got to get my hair done. and I have to get on camera by 8 o'clock in the morning, because if I'm going to do an outdoor on the deck video, the sun is up by 8:45 and it's blasting in your face, uncomfortable, hot. And so, and the light changes, of course. So we were up, bless his heart, he was setting up the cameras, setting up the lights, that we had the sound, we were checking for everything. And I went live just before 8 o'clock, just to kind of double check everything. And suddenly, after 5 minutes, it shut down. Well, I realized after studying it, after like, what happened? But he's like, I don't hear you. I don't hear you. Oh, you just buffered. You just cut out. And I'm saying, we can't keep going with this, because it's just frustrating for women who are trying to watch, anybody trying to watch. Right. So we shut it down, and I researched it, and they said, you can't go live on YouTube until you have 1,000 subscribers. So of course I had all this going on, and I'm like, this is not going to waste. So
it's hard to figure this stuff out, isn't it? Because that's what we're so used to, being in a studio where everybody else is taking care of it. You just walk on the set.
Right.
There you go. You don't have to do all the technical stuff on your own.
Everything back inside. And I said, I was in kind of a goofy mood. So I said, I'm going to do something that is so timely, and I'm going to talk about, we're cooped up, we're stuck in, our gyms are closed, fitness centers are closed, and we still need a workout. So let's do this together. So I said, work out around the kitchen. And I used everything in my kitchen, from the cabinets, reaching for a glass and doing squats, to get on a step stool and doing step ladder things, to paper towel rolls. I was even using paper towel rolls for my obliques and sides going up, and chairs where you kind of sit down, but you don't sit down. You don't put your whole weight down. I had music for every single, it was so much fun. And I uploaded it the next day. And it was really inspiring to me how quickly people responded to it. They're like, this is such a breath of fresh air. Thank you.
Exactly. It's fun. It's stuff that everyone can do.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the thing, is I don't think a lot of people, they like my daughter, well, you know, Dakota said, Mom, I want to work out, but I don't know what to do. And I haven't been working out much, so I don't want to push myself and do something that I get hurt. And so, you know, this is perfect, because you're offering simple things that people can kind of do at their own pace and in their kitchen or wherever.
You brought up a great point. There have been a number of other women who've written to me and said, just as you said, they've said, my daughter and I just did your arm workout and we loved it. We're going to do it again tomorrow. And I thought, women, because so many people are home, they're home from school, they're home from work, people are home from college. So it's kind of one of those things where all ages can do it. But the other thing is, Michelle, you said something about inspiration. And I think when moms take the time to show that they know they're important enough to fit in me time, then their daughters, their kids will say, you know, I can remember my mom working out every day. She did a 10-minute video. She just turned on the TV. There was the app. She did it, and boom, she was done. She was to your point, in a better mood, slept better, ate better, felt better, you know, had more energy. So I love that families are doing this now too.
That's great, because also the number one thing, not only to eat healthy, but exercise keeps our immunity built strong.
Yes.
That's important. But I totally agree with you that our children model what they see in our homes more than what they see outside of the home. And studies have been shown for that to be very true. And both of my girls, it's so funny, because I'll call them up and say, how you doing? What you up to? Oh, today's a self-care day. Like, today I'm off work, self-care, doing my thing, doing a beauty mask, going for a walk, going to a workout, you know, making my green juice, whatever they're doing. Christina's been doing this Arbonne cleanse, and they're both so healthy. And it's funny, because I really started that lifestyle maybe 10 or 12 years ago. And I'm so glad that they are doing it as well. It's just, but I never forced them to do it. I just did it. So
and they've modeled themselves after you from what you did, because you took the time to show, this is important. I'm going to be a better person for you and for me if I take care of me. And that way they were saying, that must be pretty important. I'm going to start using those same routines.
Yeah, especially now that they're both in the, working and have stress, and they realize, when I don't take care of me, I spiral. And that's especially right now what's happening with everyone being cooped up at home. It can be, I'm starting to see some friends of mine share some posts about, okay, we're all getting a little irritable and, a little cooped up together, need a little space. So it's nice to do things like exercise or, healthy things to lighten up, have some fun.
Right. So project, I'm going around and doing some painting touch-ups that I've needed to do for a long, long time. So that's been really good. Hobbies, sewing projects, new recipes, trying new recipes. I think people are being very creative and finding that maybe I needed to be told I needed to slow down here for a minute.
Well, isn't that the truth? Because I've been saying a lot to my coaching groups, because I work a lot in my private group with women and coaching and giving advice. And I said, how often do we stop and say, if I only had the time, I would do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
When I get the time, I'm going to, Rick and I are talking about replacing our molding. I can see the molding on the bottom of your white molding.
This was really to do this, but it kind of died upstairs. So I'm like scattering around trying to find a place to go on with you where the light was good enough where you could see me and you could hear me, and then my computer died.
That's great. And I'm sitting there looking at your molding, because we have slabs of molding up against our wall in the other room, because we've been looking to redo our molding because we've had our place remodeled. But there's always those things that you never get a chance to finish, because when we're allowed to be out of our house, Rick and I are like, we like your social butterflies. So it's exactly that. It's what is it really that I need to do, that I've been wanting to do, and also taking good care of ourselves and saying, this is a really good opportunity to say, wow, have been wanting to eat healthier. I've been wanting to work out. I've been wanting to read. I've been wanting to do stuff for myself. And so I'm so excited that you shared that too, because it's such a great opportunity during a very unfortunate time.
Yeah.
But, I think it will help us get through it a lot better, easily.
I do too. It's going to be interesting to see kind of how everybody adjusts and then what we become as a society and as a country afterward. But everybody seems to be banding together and understanding the needs right now, that it's a pretty dire situation. I feel terrible for the people who are living in New York. If you're watching the news at all, it's like, oh my goodness gracious, just stay in, wash your hands constantly, get good sleep, take your vitamins, stay strong, try to be as healthy as you can, but just be very aware that you can't take anything for granted. And even with good friends, Paul and I this was probably a couple of weeks ago, and we said, oh yeah, let's do our tradition. Let's go meet at a restaurant. And as we got home, we said, I'm not sure that was such a good idea, because I think the natural tendency is to think it's not going to happen to me. I'm perfectly healthy. All the people that I hang out with, perfectly healthy. My parents, perfectly healthy. Don't have to worry about it. But we do. And when you hear stories of the 25-year-olds who were perfectly healthy and playing sports, and then that they contracted the virus somehow. This is a story that I'll share with you too. My nephew, my brother's son, oldest son, is on a carrier in the South Pacific. And I think it's called the Teddy Roosevelt. Well, 3 boys, well, I shouldn't say boys. I don't know if there were girls and boys. I should say 3 sailors had contracted the coronavirus, and they were airlifted off the ship. But just like all the cruise ships, you have to say, okay, how long does this thing take to manifest itself? And there are very tight quarters on a ship. So I think a lot of families are being touched by this, and you don't know when it's going to show up. So we just have to be so careful and not take anything for granted.
Exactly. And that's what Rick and I are doing as well, because my mother has lung disease. So she said, she's would definitely have a very difficult time if she got the coronavirus. And so because of my mom, and then his parents are older as well, and they're just at high risk. And so something happened and they needed us. We definitely don't want to be in a position where we can't be there for them. If they needed us to run over, take them groceries even, or just whatever. So she's coming over for dinner tonight, my mom, because she lives alone and she's been by herself for a while. And so we're just like, okay, this is super hard, because both Christina and Dakota, my daughters, one is a hairstylist and one works in the restaurant industry while she's in school. So they've been around a lot of people lately.
Oh yeah.
had to distance ourselves from them for a little while just to make sure everybody's healthy before we start getting together again. So it's just, it's difficult because I miss my kids and I miss that family dynamic. But again, this is so great that we have the virtual connections. I mean, I had a girlfriend cocktail hour last week with my friends on Zoom. So there's lots of fun things that we can do to get together. And so that's why I have got so many people in my following and that women that I coach that they're so positive, but yet at the same time, I know that everybody's trying to stay positive, but we're all having waves.
Yes, they're nerves. Nerves are definitely real. Nerves, are real.
Fear of that unknown. Yeah. And I feel like the fear of the unknown has been my biggest, my whole career, just because working in the TV industry, it was always so up and down. And it was not like, okay, I have a job and I'm an accountant and I go to work and this is what I do every day. And I feel secure in my job. Whereas TV is like, okay, you're as good as your last show.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever you're doing. And so there was always this kind of anxiety that I was always dealing with throughout my career. So I learned, I think, just innately how to say, okay, but let's just take that unknown and look at it as an exciting thing. It's always different. It's always, there's always going to be uncertainty, but it's what I make of it and the steps I can take every day to do my best and be my best for me and for whatever I'm doing. And I'm just saying this for our situation here with the COVID, virus, not necessarily TV. But I think it's the little things that we can take action and feel like we're just in a little bit more control of that just eases that fear of the unknown. And I wonder, for you, how did you deal with that with a lot of the stuff that you've gone through the years?
It's tough and it's very real. And I think that the hardest thing is, or maybe what you and I have both experienced, is being raised not to wear it on your sleeve.
Yeah.
So you want to be positive and put a positive spin on things, as you've said, but nobody else sees the times when you're crumbling down the wall onto the bathroom floor because of some huge disappointment. And you thought, oh my gosh, what have I done with my life? I never changed what it was, or it was changed for me. So I think you have to, at least friends and I have talked about this, allow yourself that pity party.
Yeah.
But
oh, we lost Judy. Well, when she comes back. Oh, there she goes. She's back. That was quick. Oh, hold on. There we go.
I didn't touch anything. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that.
No, that was fine.
Maybe I put my glass in the spot.
No, I do agree. And I've got my water, and then I've got my wine. No, I agree with that too. Hydrate cocktail.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because it is important to allow yourself to grieve whatever you're going through, or if you're feeling anxious or fearful. One of the things that I have found is really useful, not only talking about it with someone that I feel like I can trust to open up to, but journaling things, writing things down, getting it out of my body.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
Head, because it's in my head, it just swirls. And my mom used to say, you get in your head, you're dead. Just get it out on paper. And sometimes when you write things down and just stream of consciousness, whatever's really bothering you or upsetting you or making you scared, you can look at it sometimes from a different perspective once you read it and you realize, okay, I got this. I can do this. And then you just also start to really focus on what you're grateful for.
Yes. And I think both are very important and both are so valuable in journaling, as you said. One other thing that is so, I think, helpful about journaling is if you don't feel that you're comfortable talking to somebody else about it, once you've shared it on paper, you've gotten it out. You have gotten it out of your system, but it's still safe. It's safe within the confines of a little notebook, because you have your little space. And when you get it down and you get it out, you've shared it. And now, even though somebody else hasn't heard those words, you've still gotten it off your chest and you're able to move on. And then to your other point about writing down things that you're grateful for, that sort of spins you into that positive place before you leave. So you're not leaving on a negative note. You're putting down everything that you feel. And it is quite amazing to go back. I have a journal from, oh gosh, it was in the early 90s, so 30 years ago. And when I go back and read it, it's all those emotions come right back out again, because you realize how raw you were at the time. But then you can say, okay, but that's behind me. And I can also look and say, oh, look at how much I was grateful for, and I still am. So I agree with you. I think journaling is a wonderful thing to do.
Yeah. And you also, I love that too, because I have so many journals that I have kept through the years, especially like times like now when I'm kind of reorganizing, and I'll just go right back to them and start reading, and you realize what you've been through and how you came out okay.
On the other side.
Okay. And it's a great reminder of, I've got this, because I think we forget what we're capable of. I think we just totally lose perspective when we get really scared. And it's very normal, because fear is a way to protect us too.
Yes.
So we can go down that black hole, but it really is something that was just so prevalent in my career, in my personal life for so many years, until I really decided, okay, if I focus more on what's right with me and what I'm grateful for and what I'm capable of, I'm going to be okay. If I take care of me, that's the most important thing. So, so that's always good to share right now. I think I know a lot of people, like you said, we're programmed to put on the happy face. We're all positive. But behind the scenes, some of us could be waking up in the middle of the night going, what the heck's going on?
Well, I think the other thing that helps us do, especially when we're in a good place, is keep in mind that we don't know what other people are going through.
Right.
So if you meet somebody who might have cut you off or was mean or said something disrespectful or unkind or gave you a look that you interpreted the wrong way, we never know if they've just lost a loved one. We don't know if they've lost a job. We don't know if they're in a hurtful relationship. We don't know, because I think we're all kind of taught to move forward, get through your day. Don't talk about your troubles. Don't talk about the problems. This is good. This too shall pass. Now, there are other people who are very good about letting everything out. And I've just been one of those people. So I'm a little bit envious of being able to do that.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it makes us a little bit more sensitive to the world around us as well. Other people who are also dealing with things that we are not aware of.
Exactly. And especially now.
Yeah.
I know both my girls are not working, and my mother lost her job. There's people in our family. My uncle is going through cancer treatment, and he can't work right now because he's high risk. I mean, there's a lot of people right now who are really scared about how they're going to pay their bills and what they're going to do the next week or two. So that is the case for so many right now. And so I'm sure there's so many people on edge, me included, worrying about my kids, my mom, my family, just like, okay. What the most important thing is, though, I keep going back to, we've got our health and we've got each other. We'll get through it. I mean, that's why you just kept focusing on that. Like, what are the things that we have to be grateful for, and how can we all pull together, and we'll get through this. And this is not long term. This is not going to be forever. We're going to get through it. So,
like everything else, the highs and the lows, this too shall pass.
Yes, thankfully. Yes, absolutely. So I do know, before we end this call, that, you sharing your age, which I was so glad that you did, because I was going to say how old she is so badly, because gosh, I mean, I don't want to talk about downers, but I do want to mention you have been through breast cancer, and you're perfect health now. Everything's great. Taking good care of yourself. What do you think, would be your top 3 tips for women who are watching to really think about, okay, positively aging? I kind of want to ban this anti-aging thing. I think it's about, really accepting and loving who we are, where we are, because as we get older, things are changing, and we're not going to be like we were when we were in our 20s or 30s or even 40s. So I would love to hear what you would like, your top 3 things that you think are the most important for women to think about in terms of positively aging.
That's a great question. One of the things that I think has been very helpful for me, and also for Paul, my husband, is being religious about vitamins. We're really, really good about taking our vitamins every day and asking our doctor like what we're deficient in and what we need help with, because I think there's so many people who don't realize what their bodies are missing, and we think that we're getting it all in our foods. And we try as best as we try to eat our greens and eat our vegetables and our fruits and stay away from the bad. It's all there, and we're going to cheat. So it's silly kind of to deny it. But I've always been, and my mom was this way, and her mom was this way. My grandmothers, my mom, and now me, who've said, I don't believe the doctors when they say that vitamins aren't important. I think they are. And I think that they're a great way to kind of stave off illness. We also have Emergen-C that we take. We have the supplements like the B vitamins and the D vitamins, thinking in Florida that we're getting enough vitamin D. And we really kind of don't, because we're told to stay out of the sun. But speaking of that, that would be my number 2 is sunscreen. Yeah. Even if I don't think that I'm going to be in the sun, I lotion the back of my hands, I lotion my face, and then I do everything else in my day. And I look at my hands now and I say to Paul, I think my age is given away by the veins, which I don't think I can do anything about. But having put sunscreen on my hands, the back of my hands, since I was 20 years old, I don't have any age spots.
Oh, that's great.
So people will say to me, what do you do to try to protect yourself? I'm like, okay, sunscreen. And I don't think it's ever too late to even start into some of these things. Just because we're 60 doesn't mean that if you start taking vitamins every day that it's too late. No, it's never, ever, ever, ever too late. Just because you're 60 or 65 or 55 or 45, it's not too late to start thinking. You don't know where you're going to be. And when you're driving in the car, the sun's always coming in on that side of your car, right? So that arm and that hand. I've gone to my dermatologist before, and she said, why aren't you wearing long sleeves? And I'm like, because it's realistic and it's 85 degrees. It's
hot.
I can't wear long sleeves in 85 degrees. Well, I'm wearing long sleeves. And I thought, yeah, you work in an air conditioned office all the time. We're running around doing things. I get it. I need to be better, but sunscreen. So that's another one of my big things that I do all the time. Well, I guess my third one would be exercise, Michelle. And I don't mean to be a broken record.
No,
I've been in fitness since I was in school playing sports and realizing the benefits. And I always say, even in my videos, and I know the sun is shining very weird on me right now. I'm sorry. I feel like if I close this,
I'll leave your sunscreen on. Oh, there you go.
I'll stop it right there. I'm afraid if I put it all the way down, I'm going to do
There's the lighting director. Yeah.
There we go. I should have noticed that. But I do think that I like to say that I want to give somebody a good workout, but also to motivate you to feel strong and fit and proud of yourself and your body, because that's what I have found throughout my whole life. And you and I have talked about the little bits of weight gain that we have that frustrates you. The clothes fit tighter. And even if it's 5 pounds, because we're only 5'2", that's a lot when it comes to your wardrobe.
Yeah. It takes up 2 jean sizes. I'm like, what? But it's too. I can't go out to dinner without coming home and feeling like, what happened? I'm swollen. I feel different if I go to a restaurant and have dinner out. So the exercise really does help, and the healthy diet.
Yes, and that's the next thing I was going to say. I know you only gave me 3, but I'm going to give
you. No, it's okay. Keep going. I agree with all of those.
When it comes to the diet, because people ask me a lot about that too. And I was probably 30 pounds heavier when I was in college. And a lot of college students go through that, freshman 10, freshman 15. But when I got to college, I thought, well, you never know what's going to inspire you. And I was living with a roommate who was this big, beautiful, and I thought, So I started watching her. She didn't eat a lot, obviously, but I thought, I'm going to do something to make myself feel better. I'm not going to follow her diet of eating a graham cracker a day. I can't. I need food for energy.
I have to eat all day.
Yeah. And grazing throughout the day is good.
That's what I do.
Apple in the middle of the afternoon, or little baby carrots, and treat yourself to a little bit of dip. You know, you don't have to eat like a squirrel.
No.
I started to, at meals, and you can do this when you're going out for a lunch or a dinner. Don't deprive yourself, but cut everything in half. Everything on your plate. I want you to cut your protein in half. You're having chicken, or you're having pork, or you're having beef, cut it in half. You're having a starch, a potato, a rice, cut it in half. You're having salad, I'm telling you, cut it in half. And then take a to-go bag and take the other halves of those things home. Because even in salad dressings, you can get a lot of calories thinking, but it's a salad. I'm just eating a salad. I'm being really good. And then I'm not eating food.
Yeah.
That's what I started doing. And I lost 30 pounds. It took me the course of 9 months, which was my senior year of college. I wasn't trying to do it fast. I was trying to do it smart because I needed to keep eating. But just some things that are as little as that. You say, I'm satisfied because I got to eat that food. I didn't deprive myself that little bit of cake. And then you get to a point in your mind, I've had 2 bites. I like the taste, but I can be done because I didn't deprive myself. When you deprive yourself, all you want is more.
Exactly. And who wants to live a whole life of dieting? I don't want to do that. It's about eating healthy. We eat gourmet every day. We cook together and we look up recipes, but we'll find things in restaurants and say, okay, how can we make this at home, but maybe omit the beurre blanc sauce, which is just butter, which is, goes right to my butt.
Right.
No, cutting it, just how about a little.
I don't know why, Michelle. Mine goes to my toes. So I don't know why you're saying that there.
Exactly. And everyone's like, well, you need to stop drinking wine. I'm like, that's not happening.
That's not happening. Sorry. No.
I'm sorry. I got to have my glass of wine. I just for 2. And I even asked my doctor, I'm like, is it okay? He's like, it's okay. I follow exactly what you're talking about. And Rick and I do green juice every single morning. We just did a live the other day sharing that. And then our vitamins, our probiotics. And
probiotics. That's another one I do every single day.
Yes, such important. And then sunscreen too, now that we're living on the beach. But we do now use these Coolabar clothes, which are made for outdoor for the beach.
Nice.
Check it out. Love it.
I have those too, and they have the built-in sunscreen protection.
Sunscreen clothing, UPF 50, those little dresses, hats, bathing suits, love it. But what I was going to say is I went to have my checkup last November after I had all my blood work done, and I have a new doctor, and she said, your blood cells are like so healthy. And she said the oxygen level in your blood. And I mean, I had never heard of that before, but she said your diet and your exercise must be great. And I'm thinking, I'd say 80% of the time, because I'm not going to pretend. Rick and I like to go out and go to restaurants, and we love to go. We're so butterflies. But I think 80% of the time, then at home, like I said, we just say, okay, exactly what you're talking about. I don't want to deprive myself of anything.
No, I don't think so. I think
scaling back
is the key.
And scaling back.
Yeah. If
we want mashed potatoes, I'll make cauliflower mash and I'll throw in 1 potato, but the rest is a head of cauliflower. So you got a little bit there. But we just have fun exploring. So it makes a world of difference, because honestly, if I didn't, I would have a lot of weight issues because it's always been very easy for me to gain weight. And I don't really care about the size that I am. I just want to feel good.
Exactly. I think so too.
I do not have, nor will I ever have, my 20-year-old body back. I don't care about that. I just want to feel good. And that's what I just want to share with women, is just that take some steps to feel better, because I have so many friends that I love and adore who are already starting to say, I don't feel good. I'm having health problems. I'm having sleep issues.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's happening to me. And a lot of it is diet and exercise could change. But in our society, it doesn't really promote that. our restaurants, our lifestyles. It's very, if you're eating super healthy, it's not easy to be out on the go or travel or do any of that and keep a healthy diet unless you're like out in LA or San Diego or something. So some cities have that, but
right.
yeah.
Well, one thing is, I think in your mind, I would say, here's another philosophy that I have, is that you can't live a certain way or have the body that you want for someone else.
Right.
You have to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul and I will always say to each other, you gotta wanna. And if you don't have that, I really want this badly enough to get to that point where I'm happy and proud and I've reached that goal, because it becomes a lifestyle for you. It's not a quick fix. It's not a here now, then I don't have to do it anymore. It really becomes a way of life. So again, don't deprive yourself, practice portion control, but also, do you really want it badly enough to get there? And then the other thing I would say, and it doesn't have to do with food, but it goes back to what you were saying about getting tests done and not being afraid of doctors. I would say to women, if you have the chance, and it may not be covered by your insurance because mine is not, but you might want to look into natural homeopathic doctors, because they can talk to you about natural bioidentical hormones. And the very first place I ever heard about that, and maybe this was the case for you too, because we both met her at the same time, was Suzanne Summers.
Mm-hmm.
And I've read all her books. I have almost the exact same story that she does, except I didn't have the full body cancer, but I went through cancer and also a hysterectomy. So all my hormones were basically taken away, and I would run for hours and hours a day, just crying my eyes out, and I couldn't get that sadness out of my system. And so she turned me on to the whole idea of bioidentical hormones. And I think sometimes traditional doctors are getting a little bit better about understanding that and looking into it. Mm-hmm. But we have to do some of our own research about that, and find yourself somebody, talk to other women. Who do you see? Who do you like? Are you taking thyroid medication? Are you looking into a progesterone or a testosterone? Don't be afraid of those words. Do some research on it, because I think that can also help you through these later years in life.
Oh, absolutely. It completely helped me. And I remember when you had your hysterectomy and they took out both your ovaries, right?
Yes.
And you went from fine to not fine. I remember that.
Bridge.
You called me up and you were like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. And it was because your hormones just went away like that.
And nobody told me that that's what was going to happen. But
thank God, you know, you did that. You went to get the hormone replacement therapy, and then I went right behind you. Good for her. I'm doing it too. As you guys can all tell, Judy's been my mentor between the exercise, the health, and the bar. And it for sure.
That's so sweet.
Drink wine for a long time because you said it didn't have sulfites in it, or sulfates, so I could drink more and not have a headache. So I was like, Rick and I are now drinking a Daba because we want to be able to have a couple glasses of here.
Oh my gosh, you are hysterical. I love you.
One that's unoaked, that's fabulous, but I know it's. But, you know, this is all good stuff that has completely helped me in my life. And I've seen how it's changed you and your life. I mean, before you had the hysterectomy, you didn't have that issue when we were together as friends, hanging out in Minneapolis and stuff. But so much better for me with the hormone replacement therapy too. Thyroid. Found out I had an issue with my thyroid. I mean, it really does make a difference because our whole system is run by our hormones. And as we get older, because I've interviewed probably 3 or 4 doctors, and I have videos on this on my YouTube page. But they show that, you know, as we get older and our hormones are declining, your body's saying, okay, you're done.
That's right.
Your reproductive, you know, life is over, and therefore it's time for you to start to decline overall, and that affects the function of your organs. I mean, your whole body. Everything. So if you can keep your hormones healthier, then your whole system, your organs, everything functions better. I have a doctor I interviewed, Dr. Cesar Lara, who said that he has his mother on hormone replacement therapy in her mid to late 70s because he wants his mother to stay healthier because of it. So it's incredible. It's not, we're not talking about the what are the synthetics?
No.
This is bioidentical, natural. Yeah. So.
And it's easy to research online now. You can look up anything so you can learn more about it and then understand what the doctor is talking about when you have an interview or you want to ask them. My doctor has seminars twice a year, and I drag Paul along with me. If you and Rick ever want to come, you'd find out. I mean, you have a great doctor, I'm sure, but she does so much research and she travels around the world. And she was talking even about the benefit of the bioidentical hormones as we're facing the COVID-19 crisis and how much more protected our bodies are because of these things that she's prescribing for us, so that we're all kind of doing the right thing and moving in the right direction. And it was really sweet. She's one of these people that you have a portal that you can go into and ask questions, and then she'll get back to you through the portal online.
Right.
There are a lot of great doctors around the country who would be wonderful for you to talk to. And I'm sure that you could look into just saying, do you have time where I could come in and just talk for 15 minutes or give a seminar? I'd love to know more about this. And I'm afraid, or I don't know enough about it, but now I'm starting to hear more about it. They'd be happy to help you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And by the way, this is for men too. Rick is on hormone replacement therapy as well.
That's absolutely
very helpful for him too. So awesome information. And so I guess we've already been on here an hour almost.
Oh my gosh.
As we can talk all night, which is typical when
this is true.
Like, okay, it's midnight, time to start. So we would start singing karaoke.
What are you making for dinner tonight?
We are making pot roast for my mother. She loves.
She's going to be coming over in a half an hour, isn't she?
Coming over in a half an hour. So it's been in my slow cooker.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
So we're having a little comfort food night. But other than that, we've been doing fish every night and just grilled the grill last night with some chicken and some butternut squash. And
we're doing salmon. We're doing salmon on the grill.
Oh, yummy.
Yeah, salmon, some rice, and some steamed broccoli. And then probably a few M&Ms for dessert.
Oh, that sounds good. We have strawberries and blueberries in the fridge. I think
you can't deprive yourself everything, but sometimes if you have that one or two little bites, you say, okay, I don't want to ruin it, but I've been satisfied and now I know what it tastes like and I don't need any more.
Oh, I like that little M&M idea. Rick like cookies and sneaks them in the cart. And we get to the checkout in the grocery and he's like, well, you know, from the bakery, but I can't eat chocolate at night, unfortunately, but I can do the M&Ms during the day.
Yeah, just one or two. And you're like, okay, now, and isn't it funny? This is another silly thing, but we're just all girlfriends here talking. So I'm going to say it out loud. So this is another thing that sometimes, again, so much of this is in your head and it goes back to, you got to wanna. And if you're trying to do this for somebody else, you're not going to succeed. If you're doing it for you, you're going to get there because that's how badly you want it. But what I was going to say is every once in a while, like when you're going out for dinner at a restaurant and there's a dessert there, and you're looking at the dessert and maybe even people are sharing, although that's probably going to stop now from now on too. Everything's going to be kind of.
That's usually how we do it. Everybody takes a bite. Yeah.
So there's a lot left and people kind of keep digging in and keep digging in. I used to say, okay, I want to have a bite, maybe two. And then if I stop, I know what that sensation and I know what that flavor tastes like. Whomever keeps eating the rest of it, it's going to end for them too, just like it ended for me. Right. But now all the rest of that's in their stomach. I got that satisfaction, but I don't have the rest of it in here. Right. You know that there's an end to whatever it is you're eating. And once you've eaten it, it's inside. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
And then you deal with the consequences of overeating. Exactly. Because it's just, exactly. It's like, oh, there's certain foods that if you put in front of me, I just have a hard time stopping. And then there's others. 80% of the food, I'm like, I'm good. I can stop. But there's certain things that every time I don't stop myself and I eat too much, I think, why did I do that?
Yes, and just say to yourself, you've had that sensation. You know what the rest of it tastes like. It's not going to taste any better than what you've already had. But just stop at that point and say, let them have it in their systems because I don't have to have it in mine.
Yep, and then you're not going to suffer.
And you're like,
Yay, I did it. And that's self-care right there too. And I don't know about you, but if I overeat or I have too much sugar at night, if I indulge in too much of ice cream or something, I can't sleep. It keeps me up because I don't feel good because it's too much food. My body's not used to it. It's like, what are you doing?
Eat too late at night. Yeah. Those are all things we already know. We don't always follow them, but we already know that.
Yeah. But it's always good to remind ourselves too. Exactly. Especially right now, I will say that last week, Rick and I talked about this the other day. Last week, when this thing first hit in terms of everybody stay at home and it got really scary, we went to the grocery store and we bought like ribs. Oh, Rick's asking if we need a second bottle. Hi, Rick, Helen, Gail, my mom's on, Dawn, and Heather.
You have pants on?
Yes.
I had to make sure. Like, he does know I'm on camera.
I have to get Ricardo in here too and say hi. Oh, yeah, he's got his cocktail too. Hey, Paul.
Hey, tell Rick the answer is yes. You need another bottle.
My mom's coming soon. She has to get ready.
Okay.
It's going to be my
we have to get together.
Even if it's virtually, right?
Exactly. Oh, here he comes. He's ready.
Look at those kids.
Hey, cheers.
Hey,
Cheers.
oh, I got to catch up.
You got some catching up to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Great guys.
Yeah.
Behind us. It's so good to see you too, Paul. Wow.
You guys be good. Stay well.
Yeah.
You guys too. That was sweet.
Yes, and I'll let you get back to you guys getting ready for dinner. And what I was just going to say is we were eating comfort food the first week, which is why the pot roast was even in the freezer to cook for my mother. I bought like ribs, pot roast. I was like, okay, I'm preparing for a storm.
Yeah.
Or like a winter storm outside. Like we're going to be comfort food, and I'm going to get French fries. It was hilarious. So now that, now I was like, okay, great. We got to go back to the fish and get feeling better because it was just too much. But I'm hearing, my girlfriend said the other day, she's like, I ate a whole bag of chips when just one sitting, just because stress. It's easy to do right now.
You were thinking like a black bear. Like you were going to go into hibernation, so you had to eat everything last week, and then you were asleep for the next 6 months.
Exactly.
You didn't sleep for the next 6 months, so you're
not asleep. I've been working a lot. Which, by the way, I will share with you. I need to share my you with my friends at the Morning Blend if they're watching. I think you'd be a great guest. I'm going to be a virtual guest next week on the show, so
that's awesome.
For you too.
Yeah. Tell them I can be a virtual guest, and I'll bring my weights, and I'll give them a workout, and also some motivational tips for staying in shape while they're.
That's what I think is. Yeah, I'm definitely going to talk to Lisa when we get off because I'll be on Monday because they're doing the show Facebook Live now. So I'm going to be doing the show virtually with them on Monday. So hopefully
you broke up there for when you said you were going to be on. Say that again.
Monday. It's called the Morning Blend, Tampa Morning Blend, normally on ABC, but they are going Facebook Live with their broadcast now. So I'm going to be on the show on Monday doing my beauty segment. And so, I was just thinking, oh my gosh, Lisa needs to, our executive producer needs to have you on maybe. So I'll see if she's interested. I'm sure she will be.
She can pull some scriptures.
Yeah. I'm putting pressure on her right now. She's watching. Lisa, go this way. Anyway, well, thanks so much for joining us all today. Miss you.
Thank you for allowing me to be your guest and feeling like we had enough things to kind of share and commiserate about, but also project positively that you wanted me to be your guest. I'm very honored. Thank you.
Oh, well, I adore you, and I'm so grateful for your friendship, and I'm excited about what you're doing, and it's so awesome for us all to be able to now work out with you virtually. So thanks for doing all that too.
Thank you, Michelle.
Okay, guys, so I'm going to sign off for now, and Judy, you have a very nice evening with Paul, and everybody else watching us, you too. Cheers.
Cheers, girlfriend.
Love you. Bye.